My latest read is a book called Who Knew the Ridpath Girl by Stacy Johns. So this is kind of one of those something tragic happened in the past and now people are looking into it kind of stories, and it rotates through 3 different main characters. So the something tragic was more than a decade ago. There was a little girl in this town who died from mushroom poisoning, and that the original idea was that this was an accident. However, character number 1, Grayson, is her older brother, and he has currently started posting a podcast series on this event, and the more he re-examines and thinks about what happened, the more he starts to become convinced that his sister actually committed suicide, and he's trying to retrace what it was like growing up in this town as his sister, the people around her and the way they treated her, and trying to put together the pieces of what really happened back then, what actually caused her death. And because this tragedy left a really deep imprint on him, it's caused him to have a great deal of anxiety. He has his own daughter now who's about the same age as his sister when she died, and he's always really, really paranoid about something happening to her. It gives him panic attacks, he gets really anxious, and he can be a little bit overbearing too because of it. And his wife convinces him that maybe if he takes this chance to face, what happened in his past, to go back to the town where he grew up, and to really look at his memories and so on, that maybe he can come to terms with this event and finally move on. But of course, there's also a lot of people who are not particularly happy about what he has to say about the town, because looking back now from the perspective of an adult, he feels like there was a lot of negativity, and he's not really painting the town in a particularly good light. So character number 2 was his sister's best friend growing up. Their name is Quinn. And Quinn is actually in town because they need their mother's assistance. She technically abandoned Quinn and their brother when they were little. She sent them to live with her parents, even though she knew her parents and her mother in particular were extremely abusive towards kids. But she just didn't really want to deal with them, and Quinn's never really forgiven her for that abandonment. At the same time, because their brother is now facing murder charges, that were for actions that were partly instigated by the abuse he suffered at the hands of their grandmother. They are hoping that they can reconnect with their mom and try to convince her to write a reference letter for him, something explaining the extenuating circumstances that may have instigated, this act of extreme violence, and to help him hopefully get a mitigated sentence. But, this is obviously a very stressful thing. Quinn's never really wanted to see their mom again, and, she even has her own replaced them with a different family, treats them like they're not even related anymore. So this isn't really something she's looking forward to. It's just something they're making themselves do in order to try to help their brother, because they feel a bit like they also abandoned him by moving out of the grandparents' house as soon as they could. But in the process of coming back to this town, Quinn, who has also been following the podcast from Grayson, also begins to wonder if their memories of the town are, as they remember, because technically, their memories of the time they spent with the girl who died are quite good. And now they wonder if maybe they missed something, if she really did commit suicide, was there something more they could have done? They're now also grappling with a kind of guilt over whether or not the girl really did commit suicide, and what that might say about their particular friendship. And as part of this attempt to resolve, these feelings, Quinn begins their own investigations, talking to the people that they remember from their childhood and trying to piece together what life was really like now that she has, or they have different perspectives as a grown-up. Let's see. So the final character isn't actually related to the past tragedy. Like, she is a police officer. Like, ever since the podcast began, like, a number of people in town have been dying, and she's the officer who is mainly in charge of these cases. Only she's dealing with her own relationship issues at home. Like, there was a previous incident where her assumptions about a suspect and her persistent refusal, I guess, to consider alternative possibilities pushed someone into committing suicide, and like, she's still grappling with the aftermath of what happened. Like, she has become a serious workaholic, where it's kind of like she has something to prove, like whether to herself or to other people, regarding like her ability to do her job, and is also getting in the way of her relationship with her family, where it always seems to her husband like she chooses her job before them. And this is causing a great deal of tension, especially as the deaths mount up and she gets even more busy. And then there's just her own trying to balance that desire to catch the culprit with the assumptions that she often makes about the people that she encounters. Like, there's just certain people who rub her the wrong way for one reason or another, but like needing to restrain herself and to really think things through so that she doesn't make the same mistake that she made before. Okay, so honestly, there wasn't really anything I liked about this story. Like, the best thing I can say is that I did read it from cover to cover, which probably means that I liked the writing style okay. But other than that, like, I think it just felt very grim and unhappy. Like, all three characters were unhappy, and all of them were dealing with these things that made their worlds, I guess, very dark. And I think the mystery element, which is the main reason I read stories like this, was kind of weak. Like, it felt to me a little bit like maybe like the story was trying to do the whole like surprise twists and stuff, but not doing it very well. Like, where it felt like a lot of the what was really going on with the murder investigation stuff and what really happened in the past. Like, there wasn't really that putting together clues process, and you didn't really have a clear investigation thing. Like, mostly you just went around and got to hear different people's perspectives on like whether the girl was treated badly and stuff like that, but it wasn't really the same as following a step-by-step of what really happened. And when you do find things out, it felt a little bit random to me, like both what happened in the past and what's going on in the present. I guess there isn't much I can say more than that. I guess that wouldn't be a spoiler, but in general, I just felt like the mystery was very weak.